Are we live? And you can never tell on Facebook, to be honest. Let me have a quick look here. Let's see what's happening. How is everybody doing today? What's today? Happy Thursday. Let's see here. I think, oh, there we are. Awesome. I know, as I was trying to get onto Facebook, it's telling me record only. I'm like, oh, is that live or is it not live? I can't tell. Something's changed and I'm not sure what they mean. Anyways, it's Amy here at Fit and Fierce Over 40. Welcome. And if you're on here and you're listening, please come and say hi. I wanted to pop on here today because I want to talk about your health and fitness goals. And the reason I want to talk about this is, yes, we all have health and fitness goals, of course. And I'm wondering if you're making it easy for yourself or if you're making it harder. Because I was talking to this woman who booked a 90-minute breakthrough call with me, and she was somebody that was having some health problems, and she had some gut-related issues, and she had gone to the doctors, and they had told her she needed to be on an elimination diet to get rid of some of the pain that she was having in her body and her gut and the rest of her body. And what was happening was that she would go on this diet, eliminate all the irritants, like things that are acidic, like pop, sugar, and all kinds of other stuff. And she would get to a month and then she'd fall off the wagon, do it for a couple of weeks and she'd fall off the wagon, then do it for, 2.5 months and just never quite got to the 3-month mark. So she was struggling to feel better in her body. Right. So let me see. And yeah, so it was really frustrating for her. She was getting pain in her body and you can tell that she was very frustrated. However, the reason why we struggle so much with, our health and fitness goals is, one, it is hard to eliminate all our fun foods. I call them fun foods. I don't want to call them bad foods because there's really nothing wrong with foods that we want to eat unless they're causing you problems. Like in this case, it was causing her some gut pain and some body pain in her body. So the key here is that she was in assessing and speaking to her, there was a few things going on in her life. One, that there was a lot of stress and pressure for work. And she also had some family engagements that she could not avoid. And then there was also some social engagements that she wanted to treat herself because, coming out of the pandemic, we've been locked down for so long, and she wants to get out and see her friends and have a good time. And of course, right, it's been a tough 1.5 years for a lot of people, and you just want to, have some fun. And there's nothing wrong with that. However, it was causing her issues. So stress. When you think about stress, what most people do when they're under stress is that they tend to resort to food. So that's a big one. And sometimes it's avoidable, sometimes it's unavoidable, depending on how you manage your food. So definitely, reducing the stress can help with your food choices. And as well, giving yourself like a 10-second rule or 60-second rule, whatever works for you, to just stop yourself and go, do I really want that? Or do I really need that food right at this very moment? And what am I feeling? Because oftentimes we're eating when we're not hungry, and that's what's causing the weight gain. And that's also what's causing the body pain or gut issues. In this case with this woman, sorry, my email just went. And so where was I? Yeah, so the stress. So definitely getting stress under control and giving yourself a moment to decide, like, hey, wait a second here. I'm reaching to the fridge, to the cupboards to get something snacky. Do I really need it? Do I really want it? What am I feeling? Okay, so that's overcoming emotional eating. I mean, that's a very simplified version. However, asking those 2 simple questions can make a huge difference. 2 was social pressures, right? Yeah, I think this woman was kind of putting it on herself. She wanted to get out and have some fun, post-pandemic, lockdowns were lifted. And she had a beach vacation plan with her girlfriends. She was visiting her family that was a few hours away, and, a girl's trip somewhere else, and maybe even a work engagement too, right? So things like that. And when trying to get to your health and fitness goals, there's no question that it's hard, but are you really making it easy for yourself, right? I mean, yeah, it's important to socialize and to feel good, but what's more important, trying to feel better long-term or, having those social engagement that you really don't need at this very moment. So you have to decide what's actually more important to you. So in this case, she already had committed to these events, so there's nothing she could do. Well, so she says. And especially, certainly for the family engagements and the work-related stuff, but definitely the personal social time could definitely be, eliminated for sure if she really wants to feel better. So there's a few things, the few things that I gave her to do are to think about, stopping yourself before you reach for the cupboards and asking those questions. And then 2, which is a really big one, is getting enough sleep and rest. That is huge. If you're under stress and pressure, that your cortisol levels are high, then you don't get enough sleep and rest. It just adds on to the stress of what you already have. And when you're tired or hungry, when you're tired, the next day, think about it. Think about when you know that you haven't got enough sleep. Let's say you got like 5 hours sleep one night. That very next day, you're feeling tired, but you've got all this work that you've got to do. So what do? You start reaching for the sugars. You start reaching for the sugary drinks and the carbs, like cookies and cakes and muffins and things like that, because your body's looking for energy. And then you're also seeking for more things that are caffeinated, whether it's teas or the big Starbucks with all the sugar in it. So it's really, and then on top of it, so that gets your level up, that gives you temporary energy only to come crashing down. Then it's all this high, low, and then you wonder why you're so exhausted. So it's really, really important to get the sleep and rest that you need. So if you're an 8-hour girl, you got to start counting back. So if you got to get up at 6, start counting back all the hours. So counting back 6, my math is terrible, by the way. So start counting back 8 hours plus an extra hour on there for downtime for some self-care, right? So it's really important to get the sleep and the rest that you need if you want to start getting to your goals and making it easier for you. And then also reducing your social schedule. Think about it. How hard is it to eliminate all these irritants when you've got people coming over for dinner, or you're at somebody else's house, or you're on a vacation? It makes it really, really, really hard. So come say hi if you're on here. It makes it really, really hard. So it's important to, as much as I know it's hard to say no, but you have to decide what's more important. And here's a really good example. We've all probably had to buy a big ticket item. Let's say a car or a house or condo, and you know that you need to save X amount of dollars every month to get to your goal in order to have a down payment to buy that big ticket item. And your friends say, hey, Amy, do you want to go on a 1-week spa vacation up in the Swiss Alps that costs $5,000 or $10,000, costs you a lot, a fair chunk of change? And you're thinking, that's going to dip into my savings that I'm aiming to buy a house that I need that I really, really, really want. And I'm committed to, saving this money to buy this item. And you start assessing, it's I'm kind of committed to buying this condo, car, or house. So I'm going to have to decline because why? Because you're committed. All right. So as hard as it is who doesn't like a spa week in the Swiss Alps, right? Of course it's hard. Of course you want to go, but you choose not to go because you're committed to your financial goals of saving for that big ticket item. And same rule applies for when it comes to your health and fitness goals. And they tend to go kind of out the window when you're, especially if you've got gut issues or issues where you need to really pay attention to what you're eating. And so it's really important to make it easy for yourself. Yes, it's hard to say no, there is no question, right? So it's important to reduce the social schedule, to get the sleep and rest that you need, okay? Can't always be 100% of the time, but what you can do is you want to work towards a goal, and there might be some peaks and valleys, not peaks and valleys. You might be some undulating, I love that word, undulating. I learned that watching golf. I don't play golf, by the way. Undulating, going in an upward trend, right? Sometimes you dip a little, sometimes you go up a little, sometimes you dip a little and go up a little. What you don't want are these peaks and valleys, because that can really take a huge toll on your emotional health, as we all know. And that's why for a lot of women who have resorted to dieting over the years, that it makes it really challenging. You become exhausted from it. So it's really important to make that commitment to yourself when it comes to your goals and making it easy for you. So if there's things, you got to start assessing, what you do in a week. And if you're exhausted by the end of the week, you need to start looking what it is that you can eliminate. Okay, so yeah, it's the things that you got to learn to say no, because there's nothing wrong with saying no. Nothing's going to change. Your friends will always be your friends. Nothing's going to change. It's important to make it easy for yourself. And when you make it easy for yourself, you can begin to feel better. And then when you start feeling better, then you can start saying yes. But it's really important to say no. I know that's tough. All right, so that's it for today. And yeah, have yourselves a great weekend, and we will see you soon. Bye for now. Bye.